we check out a cheesy Indian dessert with a sauce that breaks the bank.
A sweet, crispy waffle that isn't for breakfast.
And how about a tall glass of cold milk with a dark, chocolatey kick?
But first, spicy, crunchy triangles of corn. Nacho cheese Doritos are Canada's #1 flavored tortilla chip.
Frito-Lay have been perfecting the nacho cheese Doritos since 1998.
The name Doritos in Spanish means little bits of gold. I love them. They are little bits of gold.
Delicioso.
This factory in Cambridge, Ontario receives a delivery of 35,000 kilograms of corn every day.
The dried corn is transferred from huge storage silos to a kettle where it's cooked in water. We can't tell you how long it's cooked. That's a trade secret.
Every day we can use up to 18,000 kilograms of raw corn in our Dorito production. Over the course of a year, that adds up to over 6.5 million kgs of finished product. That is a lot of corn.
Once cooked, it's moved to big vats where it soaks overnight to soften the kernels.
The next day, cooked corn is pumped through pipes to a machine where it's washed. After cleaning, it heads down a conveyor to the milling machine, where spinning millstones grind the corn into a masa.
Masa is Spanish for dough. The word commonly refers to a corn dough, like this one, which is extruded into a sheet.
This will be your Dorito, made out of this.
The 1-meter-wide masa sheet is fed into a cutter, which forms the dough into perfect little triangles or cookies 10 rows wide. This machine can cut 6,000 individual chips every minute. That's over 8 million every 24 hours.
Time to toast those tortillas.
A critical part of our process we call toasting. The heart of that process is driving out the moisture so that when we put that chip into the fryer, it doesn't balloon up.
After toasting, the chips take a trip on a long cooling belt. 3 tiers of it, in fact, so they're cool enough for frying. This also prevents large blisters from forming on the chips when they take a hot, oily bath.
The chips fall into a fryer filled with vegetable oil heated to 288 degrees Celsius. Toasting, then frying the chip gives it that extra crunch and signature texture.
The bubbles that you see on a finished Dorito, they're really pockets of air trapped in the chip. That's created when you do your frying process. We take good care to make sure we have the perfect number, perfect size on every Doritos. It's really part of our science and part of what makes a Dorito so great.
Next stop, the seasoning tumbler. Ah, my taste buds are tingling already.
Meet Scott. He's in charge of turning plain old chips into delicious nacho cheese Doritos. He loads a secret blend of cheddar cheese, Romano cheese, and spices into a hopper to be piped to the tumbler.
It may look intimidating, but this gentle giant distributes seasoning evenly. And as the delicate chips ride the tumbler, they act as cushions, keeping each other from breaking into pieces. The seasoned Doritos take a long journey along 30 meters of conveyor belt to ensure they're completely cooled before packaging.
An occasional shake makes sure nothing clumps together. This flour-like machine is a scale. Here, it separates the chips into the proper portions for bagging. Every large bag of Doritos contains about 100 chips.
Hey, that's 50 for each hand. Perfect! The chips fall through tubes to the packaging machines.
Our packaging process happens at very high speeds. We'll be unrolling the film from behind the machine. Product at the same time will be dropping from our scale mezzanine. The perfect amount of product will fall into the bag and we'll form the seals and cut the bag all in 2 seconds.
Valerie makes certain there are 8 bags in every box.
The best thing about Doritos is the flavor.
This plant can make and package 70,000 bags of Doritos every day. That's over 18 million a year.
I'm a huge sports fan, so I really enjoy sitting on my couch eating a bag of Doritos watching TV.
During the big game or just a small break, Doritos are a finger-licking good time. The sweet, tasty treat Kesar Rasmalai is the perfect way to end a spicy Indian dinner.
With its mild cheese curd or paneer and sweet milky sauce, this traditional Indian dessert soothes toasted taste buds.
Brar Sweets have been making the dessert since 2004. Kesar is the Punjabi word meaning saffron, and Rasmalai is the sauce that it flavors.
The treat's name comes from its sauce, but the base is paneer, a fresh, unaged Indian cheese that Brar makes from scratch.
To make one-day run for the Rasmalai, we need around 200 kilos of paneer.
For the paneer, 150-liter batches of milk are heated in large steel kettles at 82 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes.
Citric acid is added, which causes the milk to curdle, and the solid milk curds are separated from the watery whey.
Desserts rarely feature cheese, but like with cheesecake, paneer will lend this dish a creamy and cool texture.
The curds are hand-strained through cheesecloth to remove the whey, leaving only the soft paneer.
1500 लीटर दूध एवरीडे रसमलाई पनीर के लिए यूज करते हैं।
The strained curds are refrigerated, ready for the next stage. Later, the cooled paneer is put in a mixer to bind it into a smooth dough.
Then a screw conveyor squeezes the cheese through an extrusion head to form a cylinder, which is chopped into pieces by a cutting blade.
We can run between 80 to 100 pieces a minute.
The paneer falls onto a conveyor where a machine called a rounder unit rolls each piece into a perfect ball. After their massage, the paneer balls are given to Manpreet and Manjeet, who flatten the balls by hand into the traditional disc shape needed for Rasmalai.
मैं इतने 5 साल काम किया, मैं इतने 6 साल काम किया, मैं इतने बहुत फास्ट काम कर रही हूँ। नहीं, मैं बहुत फास्ट करती हूँ। नहीं, मैं ज़्यादा कर रही हूँ।
Ladies, please. You're both quick. In fact, they can flatten 4,800 balls in an hour.
The paneer discs need to be boiled in water for 20 minutes so they'll firm up and stay together.
At the same time, a sugar and water solution is prepared. This is a dessert after all. The cooked discs are left to steep in the solution for 4 to 5 hours. This sweetens the paneer. But now, the sugar solution needs to be squeezed out.
It's a very critical step to press all the sugar out from the pieces by hands in between your palm. The girls manually do it because if you try by machine, these pieces are so fragile, they fall apart.
The freshly squeezed paneer is put into trays to rest while the sweet, milky malai sauce is made.
It begins with a sweetened milk solution. Then the spice cardamom is added.
But to give the sauce its signature golden color, you've got to add the most expensive spice in the world, saffron.
This spice is so expensive, it is like gold in spices.
Saffron comes from the crocus flower and can cost $3,000 a kilo. Brar Sweets uses up to 15 kilos a year, meaning they spend $45,000 on this pricey spice.
Note to self, become a saffron farmer. After cooking for 12 minutes at 90 degrees Celsius, the malai is pumped to the packaging room.
Here, 12 paneer discs are put in a tray along with a sprinkling of sliced almonds.
Brar Kesar Rasmalai we launched 2 years ago. It's a very successful product. We make 50,000 pieces a day, 800,000 a month, and 9.6 million a year.
Each tray is placed onto a conveyor and topped up 4 at a time with the sweet golden malai sauce.
Still warm, they're sealed with a peelable film, then left to cool.
In 2 to 4 hours, we bring down the temperature and then we put it into the cooler between 3 degrees to 5 degrees Celsius.
When chilled, the trays are sent to the final packaging line.
Although trays are inserted into boxes by hand, they are automatically glued and sealed on their trip down the conveyor. The boxes are packed 10 to a carton and palletized for shipping.
Kesar Rasmalai is so good, even the folks at Brar Sweets are addicted to it.
Sometimes I eat a lot because I love it.
I have finished 1 tray complete, 12 pieces.
But when it looks this good, who can blame them?
Okay, what's the best way to eat ice cream? How about in a sweet, crispy, portable waffle that's wrapped into a cone?
Created by happy accident when an ice cream vendor at the 1904 World's Fair ran out of serving cups. A nearby waffle maker came to the rescue by rolling his waffles into a cone.
This Vancouver-based company has been perfecting the art of making waffle cones for 2 generations.
My father wanted to be the best and the biggest, so he wanted King Cone Waffle Cone, and that's what we ended up as.
King Cone isn't a reference to a certain giant ape, but a tip of the hat to Yen's father's favorite fast food burger chain.
Waffle cones begin life as batter, and this recipe is an old family secret. Into the mixer goes water, sugar, flour, and a mixture of canola oil and soy lecithin, a binding agent made from soybeans.
Batter making isn't as easy as it looks. Each batch has to be exactly 17 degrees Celsius, or the cones will be inconsistent.
In the summertime, the flour will be a lot warmer. We have to cool the batter down with the water to even out the temperature.
Each batch of batter is 50 liters, which is enough to keep the production line going for 45 minutes.
The mixture is lifted and poured into a hopper, which feeds the Jupiter 45.
This machine is special. It was shipped from Germany, and it took nearly 4 months before it was fully operational.
That's my baby.
Jens has reason to be proud. The Jupiter 45 is a one-stop cone cooking and rolling machine, and it's the bigger, better brother of his last setup.
Our old machine, the Jupiter 19, we were lucky to produce 3 cases an hour. Today, we're able to do 12 plus cases an hour. It makes a big difference.
From the Jupiter's hopper, a predetermined amount of batter is pumped onto a baking chain of waffle irons.
The tops close on the batter to cook both sides at once.
The waffle irons are connected together like tank tracks and are heated by gas flame.
After 50 seconds, freshly cooked waffles are released, but to make them handheld, a rotating arm guides them to a cone shaper.
The wafer is inserted into a metal cone shape, and a rapidly spinning piston rolls the waffle neatly into a cone.
The perfect shape for holding your ice cream.
This machine can produce 3,000 cones per hour, and King Cone will manufacture up to 30,000 a day.
Jens stands by to ensure that nothing holds up production of his baby.
Even though you've seen it running fantastic today, believe me, there's days where it just is a nightmare. It's given me gray hairs over the years.
Oh, that's parenting for you.
When the cone is fully rolled, the piston retracts and the waffle cone falls gently to a cooling conveyor.
To keep the cones consistent, nothing gets past quality assurance worker Stacy's eagle eyes.
No holes in the bottom, no marks on them. Make sure they're the right size, right color. Just everything to make sure it's the first stage of quality control.
She discards broken or misshapen cones.
And once they make it past Stacy, Brittany takes over.
I'm Brittany and I package waffle cones.
The conveyor belt sends them to Brittany in 2 rows of 17 cones. Brittany slides them into a plastic sleeve and packs 250 cones to a box.
A best before sticker is applied and the boxes are palletized and ready to ship. And King Cone takes matters into their own hands.
Waffle cones are very fragile, and it's one of the reasons why we do most of our own distribution.
That's good news, because the first time these sweet cones should be broken is after the last bite of ice cream. Straight from school, the gym, or just straight from the fridge, you can't beat a cool glass of chocolate milk.
Yep, in the 17th century, scientist Hans Sloane tasted a Jamaican cocoa drink, added milk, and the rest is history.
Today, Natrel has added a new twist to this old favorite, premium dark chocolate milk.
Natural dark chocolate, we use a real cocoa butter, so it's really considered a better product.
1 million liters of 100% Canadian dairy is delivered by truck every day to the Natrel plant and transferred to 16,000 liter storage tanks that are 19 feet high. Then it's pumped to a separator.
Here, the milk is spun at high speeds so that the lighter cream can be separated and drained away. Now the milk is only 1% fat.
Next, it's pumped to a mixer where quickly dissolving liquid sugar is added.
Sugar helps the milk taste good, but to make it good for you, it's fortified with vitamins A and D. The vitamins are carefully measured, pre-mixed, and piped into the mixer.
Chocolate milk has all the benefit of regular milk, plus it has this great taste of chocolate.
Chocolate? It's good for your taste buds. So a bag of chocolate base is brought to the mixing station.
Daniel heats the milk mix to 40 degrees Celsius to ensure that the base will melt.
The base is a powder made of cocoa, ground chocolate, and stabilizers, which are added for texture. The exact recipe is a trade secret, but it turns the milk from creamy to dreamy.
Dreamy enough to drink. But how do the factory workers like their chocolate milk?
I like to drink my chocolate milk right after the gym because it makes me strong.
Well, muscles are an indispensable part of the process.
Now, the dark chocolate milk is homogenized, which ensures the remaining fat is spread evenly throughout. The milk is forced through narrow tubes at high pressure. Finally, the milk is pasteurized, heated to 140 degrees Celsius, and then quickly cooled. This kills any bacteria, so it can last up to 60 days in the fridge.
But first, we have to get it to the fridge.
1 liter cartons are lined up for filling, with their plastic twist caps standing by. Each plastic cap and safety seal is punched into place. And the cartons are open and ready for their big moment.
The dark chocolate milk is pumped in precise 1 liter amounts. That looks so thick and rich. Let's slow it down. There are 100 employees on the Nutrell factory floor, and it pays to be surrounded by this chocolate fuel.
Chocolate milk does the body good.
On their way to be packed, the cartons take a quick rinse.
Nutrell dark chocolate is packed on a very high-speed machine. This machine can run up to 6,000 units an hour.
At that rate, Nutrell makes 48 million liters of chocolate milk a year.
It would take a cow over 4,000 years to produce that much milk.
It's taking less than half of the day between the time we receive the milk to the time we pack it, and it's ready to be shipped to your grocery store.
That's about as fresh as it gets.
The cartons are packed 16 to a crate and bound 54 crates to a slat.
From the chilled storage facility, they're forklifted to delivery trucks to be shipped out to stores as quickly as possible.
What's Pierre's favorite way to drink dark chocolate milk?
To pour it in your coffee and make a mocha.
Any way you pour it, this rich dark chocolate milk is a premium treat.